Hey guys, wanted to post up another short little video clip of my steel rod ends for the upper control arms. There's been a question brought up about the difference between the full kit for the front and rears versus buying them separately. The biggest difference between them, if you buy the separate fronts and the separate rears, uh, you get you don't get something that comes in the full kit. If you look at the rears, you can see that I include a little 10.5 millimeter camber spacer in there. It's machined out of solid billet. I got a couple little grooves in there. The reason I went with 10.5 instead of 12 millimeters, it allows the use of basically shims to set your camber for your particular application. Each kit comes with the two 6 millimeter rod ends, steel rod ends, two camber 10.5 millimeter bushings, and 8 camber washers or shims. Basically what this is doing is it's, obviously making this one look like one solid piece in there, so you don't have that possibility of busting the upper turnbuckle there. If you buy just the rears by themselves, you don't get these. You just get the two rod ends with jam nuts to jam up against there. As you can see on this one, this particular one's set up for the hostile hubs. There's a little difference in the little spacers between the stock style hub and the hostile hub. Pretty straightforward. They'll bolt on any of the stock turnbuckles or screw right on the stock turnbuckles, or killer RCs, or pretty much any of the aftermarkets that are out there. As you can see, they work with virtually any upper control arm. I know they work with the micro hobbies. That's what's on there now on the rear. The RPMs I've used, the stock I've used. I know they work with the FLM, stock, extended, so on and so forth. I've got customers out there that have used them for that. When you're using a billet upper control arm, it is a little more work to get this to line up properly. You've got to, when you thread the turnbuckle in there, you got to find that sweet spot to get this to line up properly when it's tightened up for your particular camber setting. These are available for the stock hubs or the hostile hubs. You just need to let me know when you're ordering them so I can get the proper spacers in there for you. Just send me an email or whatever on that, and that pretty much covers the rears. We're going to swing this over to the fronts. For the front, it's a little different. It's a 1/4 inch Heim instead of a 6 millimeter. The reason I went with this is I could get these Heims made up in a special length. The body on them's a little shorter than what you could buy if you were buying a stock 1/4 inch Heim. Again, this allows for camber adjustment on it. You can use the stock spacer that's inside there, or you can use steel washers. It's pretty much up to you on that. You do have to drill the hole diameter out to 1/4 inch. It's not that big a deal. If you're using a plastic one, just drill through a plastic spacer that's inside there on the stock or RPM or whatever, and drill through the back side of your upper control arm to 1/4 inch as well. The fronts come with the front Heim, the two high misalignment spacers, and the 1/4 inch hardened bolt to screw into the Heim. Same thing applies on the fronts as the rears. If you're using a billet upper control arm, you kind of got to work with it a little bit to get it lined up. It's a little easier because all you got to do is twist the Heim on the screw itself, and it'll line up pretty easy. While we're at the front, I get, you look on the website and it says that you must run limiting cables. The reason for this is, as you can see here, we've got plenty of range of motion with this Heim on here with limiting cables. If I'm going to back up a little bit here, and if you can see that, you can see what I consider, the proper droop angle on the front of pretty much anything you're running. I get questions from people that don't run the limiting cables or limiting straps on there. There's no need for your lower control arm to be at any, in my opinion anyway, any more droop than that. It's really not usable. This is plenty of suspension travel like that. And another thing that happens, people will bolt all this up on there and they'll say, well, it's sitting, they don't take into account it's sitting on the bench and the suspension is fully maxed out and depressed because the shocks are pressing down on it. Once the car is set on the table, that's obviously going to change that droop angle on there. Other than that, I think that's about it for this particular, high quality professional video. If you have any questions, just drop me an email or, shoot DDM an email and they'll forward it to me. Thank you for your time and thank you for your support, guys.